subscribe. Hello and welcome back to another vlog. My name is SAJJAD IMTIAZ and today I've come to see the deserted village of Feltville or Glenside Park in Berkeley Heights, New Jersey. It is also called the Watchung Reservation Historical Trail because the trail goes through the village, which I'll be going on soon. But I'll be talking about the history of this area as I'm going through it, and we'll discuss like the buildings over here and what's their prominence, why was this village abandoned, what was the reason, why was this place built in the first place, and then what happened, what led to the demise, because obviously like the place does not exist anymore. I mean the buildings are there but the residents are not. So let's just go in and explore the deserted village. So about 1736, Peter Wilcox built a sawmill along the Blue Brook to produce lumber, which would be needed by farmers as they settled this frontier area. The sawmill operation cleared the forest from hundreds of acres. In 1845, David Felt bought 760 acres of land and built a printing factory along the brook. He built an entire town on the bluff above the brook to support the mill operation, and by 1850, 175 people were living in Feltville. After Felt retired in 1860, other business ventures were tried but failed, and the town became deserted for a short time. But in 1882, Warren Ackerman bought the property and converted the former mill town into a summer resort called Glenside Park. When the popularity of mountain resort was displaced by the advent of Jersey Shore, Glenside Park closed in 1916. Soon after, the Union County Park System was formed in 1912. This area was incorporated into the Watchung Reservation, one of America's first county park. Alright, so what do we have here? So here they talk about the history of this area, which is now known as the deserted village of Feltville. But back in 18th century, it was known as the Peter Hill, and then they have a timeline over here explaining what was here during those time periods. I'm gonna just read the names of it, and then you guys can maybe post the picture and then the video and read the history about yourself. But in 1730s there was a colonial settlement of Peter Hills, but then in 1845 it was transformed from farmstead to company town. And then in 1860, radical abolitionist makes Feltville for his farm. Then in the 1870s, an abandoned village, basically it was abandoned earlier, and then it was rebuilt again. And 1882, Glenside Park, a Victorian summer resort, because that's the time when it was built again, so people can come and explore this area. But then again, in 1920s, an artist leaves a lasting impression. Real estate investor portion of site 1999, and then interior wall of the cottage with Mexican murals. Okay, in 1920s it became part of Union County Park Commission, and basically it became part of the public parks I would say. And then after that it was named as Glenside Village, or that's what it's known as right now. And then in 1970s, archaeologists investigate the site, and then in 1980 the site's history recognized nationally, so now it's a part of national heritage. So let's just go in and see the deserted village. There's a sign saying Masker's barn is up ahead. So let's see how's that barn is, in today's time, because obviously it's being preserved now. And there is actually an old graveyard up the hill, so I'm gonna go there as well. But right now I think that's the church, and I think here the caretakers live, and somebody is living here, so it's not completely deserted. Then it's a lie, it's residential, and I'm here thinking nobody lives here, but there are people living here. So let's see, we've been lied to. So this is the church actually, if I'm not wrong, because I did came here about 2.5 years back, and that time it looked pretty different because it was during the summertime. So here's the church, and let's get some information about it. According to the information I have over here, the entrance or the parking lot from where I came from used to be a school ground. There used to be a school there from where basically Sarah Felt Toby, she was 19, she used to teach there. Okay, we have some workers So they're just driving around, not caring about the speed limit here. But hey, you know, I think it's their territory. But yeah, like Sarah Feltville who was 19 at the time in 1850, she used to teach where the parking lot is today. And this building over here used to have multiple purposes. The bottom or ground floor used to be a store. It also used to be a post office and a storage room, but then the top portion of the building was the church. So this building definitely had multiple things going on in it. So I'm just gonna go around because the historic cemetery is on the other side. So let's just see. Okay, time to go to the cemetery and see how it is. But they also have the restroom in this building over here. Okay, so I mean, I guess that's the only way we can go in and see the building, I guess, because I haven't seen anything that happens within the building. I don't know if it's being used or not, but apparently there are restrooms. I think that's the door that leads to it, and even this one. But the top floors are closed. But that shouldn't be my concern right now because I don't have the need to go to restroom. But this is the bridge that goes to the cemetery, which is right over there. I can see the tombstones. So let's see. So time to just cross this dry river over here. Okay, yeah, the bridge is shaking, which is not a good thing. Maybe they're waiting for somebody to fall from here, I guess, and then fix it. But right now we are heading to the cemetery. Even though I was not planning on going on a trail, but I guess I am on one right now. I mean, the village is kind of on the trail, but it's paved road. But this is what I meant when I said, like, I don't want to be on a trail. You have to go up the hill and then just have fun with it. I mean, not fun. I'm going to the cemetery. I don't know what I'm saying right now, but this is how it looks from here. Okay. It's not a bad hike, if I can say that, because it's steep, but not steep enough. So I've done worse. So here we have some information about the Wilcox and Bagley family cemetery, which I'm standing here right now, and this is what we have here. So sometime in the early 18th century, more than a century before David Felt established Feltville, Peter Wilcox, his wife Phoebe Bagley Wilcox, and member of their families moved from Long Island to Watchung Mountains, an outlying section of the Elizabethan tract. The Watchung were named by the native Delaware Indians, who called them Walk-unks or high hills. The Wilcox family settled near the Blue Brooks, also known as the East Branch of Green Brook, on a land grant of more than 400 acres, and their homestead became known locally as Peter Hills. And Peter Wilcox farmed and established mills on the Blue Brook, creating a mill pond to supply his mills with power. These mills served scattered farmsteads in the area as well as Wilcox family. The property also included a small copper mine, which Peter may have worked for a time. While historical documentation is scant, members of both families served in American Revolution. Subsequent generation remained in the area. Now let's talk about the tombstones or the cemetery over here. Basically, by the mid 20th century, the 1776 John Wilcox gravestone was the only original stone left standing in the cemetery. Partially dislodged by a tree, the stone was removed for safekeeping. When it was reinstalled at the site, there was some question as to precise location of the cemetery, which, in addition to the graves of Wilcox and Bagley family members, included the graves of two teenage Irish girls, workers in Felt factory, who drowned in the mill pond in 1858. Today, the John Wilcox gravestone and a few 18th century archaeological sites comprise the only physical evidence of the Wilcox occupation of the property. In addition to the original Wilcox stone, A few commemorative Wilcox and Bagley stones have been placed in the cemetery. The newer John Wilcox stone was supplied by the federal government. The Department of Veterans Affairs will issue a free gravestone for any American veteran grave, regardless of where in the world the veteran is buried. So basically, the gravestones are being provided by the American government because they were veterans. Also, this is the new tombstone that was provided by the US government because again, he was a veteran. And this is the original 1776 gravestone or tombstone, I would say. Let me zoom in so it's easier to read, because the stone is very hard to read, but you can actually get a clue of it. Again, the camera is not doing justice to the original site, but this is what we have here. But yeah, this is it. It's like they're literally atop the mountain, keeping an eye on their once held property. So that's my take from it. But now I'm gonna go back to the main trail or main road from where I came and go ahead and see the remaining part of the deserted village. So let's see. But this is the what do you call, cemetery from behind. I think I must have shown that when I was coming up the hill. I am back on the main trail now, and I'm going further in to see the remaining part of the deserted village. This is the complete Watchung Reservation map. Okay, so this is where I am, and this was the church store. There's the masker's barn, house ruins. There are ruins of the houses, which is good. Okay, and hermit pond. Damn, it's a long trail. I didn't expect this one to be this long. Alright, so let's go ahead and see what we have here. So here it just says that David Felt ended the operation here, manufacturing operation here in 1860, and moved back to New York because there was a crisis or panic, a worldwide financial crisis that was going around that time. Made him scared, and then he moved back to New York, and then his wife died there, and then he had some more other issues, and then eventually he ended up declaring bankruptcy. So this was New York, I guess, if I'm not wrong. This was New York back in from 1845 to 1860, which is pretty amazing from what we have now. But what this says over here. Alright, so this is just the history of David Felt. I would just leave it like this, and anybody interested in knowing the history, they can actually pause the video and watch it or read it. But this is all about David Felt. So because it's so much information there, I don't think it's wise to just narrate the whole thing. You can pause the video and then read it. But now we are heading down towards the houses, the abandoned houses. So let's see. Alright, so we have some houses over there, some in the back. So I'm definitely gonna go and take a look at each of those. But here again, they have benches for anybody to come and sit and experience it. Oh man, it feels good walking on the leaves. So that's what I'm talking about. It's the fun of walking on the fall leaves. So these are the houses, which you can see are clearly not in good shape, but hey, this is what happens, right? So these are the houses, the Gilded Age. Again, this explains the information of this area. Basically, these were the houses owned by the middle class of 1880s, and there was no hint of malaria at the time. I'm just reading the headline again. I'm not going through the whole thing. I've seen a couple videos where people did go inside the houses, but I'm not taking that chance. But you can see the condition is pretty bad. I don't know, maybe somebody is residing here, because I can see the light is on, and even there's a mailbox here. So Now I am having doubts about how deserted is this place, because if the place is truly deserted, there shouldn't be any light, there shouldn't be curtains inside. I can see, actually, if I can just, I can see the furniture as well in there, but the property is not being maintained. So I don't know, what's the point of calling it deserted if somebody is living here? Let's just go around, go to the houses in the back and see how they are. Going around, I'm not gonna go the whole trail, I'm just cutting between the houses. So let's see. Yeah, it's barred, but then what's the point of having the light there? You can see there's an AC. Now I'm confused. Is this place really deserted, or is this being used by somebody? That's a big question now I have. But this house over here, while looking at the house, I almost fell. This always happens to me on every trip whenever I'm sightseeing. Alright, so again, is a government property, it's barred. You can see how badly it's being maintained, but again the question is, who is living over there? These houses should be deserted, there shouldn't be anybody, but then there are people here. And you can see this house is number 7 on the property, I guess. Again, this is, I think this is the best preserved house. I have to get information about whose house it was, because this one looks pretty nice. There's a trail that goes down there as well. I think that's the one that goes behind the church, but I didn't go there. You can actually, there's a whole what do you call it, reservation, Watchung Reservation. So actually, I'm not gonna go into the building, but let's just walk on through it and see how's the view from in there. But it says Cottage Number 7. It was built 1845 as housing for mill workers. The building was converted to a summer cottage in 1882. In the late 1920s, the cottage was decorated with Latin American art and furniture. Roberto de la Salva, a Nicaraguan artist, painted murals directly on the plaster of the ground floor's walls. The murals were hidden behind the wallpaper from about 1932 to 1975. Exterior restoration of this building, completed in June 2022, was made possible by funding from the Union County Board of County Commissioner and the Preserve New Jersey Historic Preservation Fund, administered by the state of New Jersey, basically. So this was actually a cottage on the resort, summer cottage, and this one is basically one of the well preserved properties, so you can actually walk around. Let's see what we have here. There's a sink there, if you can see in, but this is the view you get from the back of the house balcony.
Oh, look at this board. Yeah. Are you doing a YouTube video?
Yes.
Can I say hi?
Yeah, sure.
Hello. Hello. What's your YouTube channel?
It's called SAJJAD IMTIAZ. Tell everybody to subscribe.
Subscribe. Subscribe.
Exactly.
Subscribe.
Yes.
Let's go.
All right. You want to
Subscribe.
subscribe? All right. All right. So, go one more time. Subscribe. Okay. Subscribe. All right. So these guys over here have a message for you guys. So let's see. Go ahead.
Subscribe for Cottage.
Okay.
24. Subscribe for Cottage. Chatham, New Jersey. Go. 24. Chatham, New Jersey.
Okay. And subscribe. Okay. All right. Oh, got it. All right, guys. Thank you. All right. Bye. All right, bye. Thank you. Thank you very much. All right, guys. Bye. Here you go. Bye. All right, man. Here you go. Thank you. Bye. 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 So there were the kids from the Cub Scouts, so that was pretty good. But I was saying the Porsche is pretty good over here. The view is pretty nice. And this was part of the cottage that was here in the early 1900s. Again, it's sad that we cannot go into these buildings because these are not well maintained or well preserved. That's what I've known. I mean, they are working in there, so I think maybe once the restoration is done, maybe they open it up for the public again. But just imagine living here in the early 1900s and waking up to this view, or working here. It was definitely something back in the time, but now I guess it's time to leave. Again, they need to preserve this whole area, but one thing I need to know is what's going on between those two houses, because you definitely see the lights there, and there's furniture in there. And then this house is also not well maintained, but I think there might be somebody residing in. So I'm going on the main trail now. Alright, so I was about to go on the trail, but I saw there's this broken glass. So let's see what we have in there. It's like a storeroom. I hope I don't see any haunted stuff, but yeah, it's a storeroom. So let's go. I don't want anything paranormal happening here because I've seen enough horror movies and I don't want to be a part of one. But now I'm heading to the masker's barn. Alright, so this trail leads to the parking, no vehicles. Okay, luckily I parked my vehicle back in the starting parking lot, but the masker's barn is this way, so that's where I'm going now. Alright, so we have couple more houses over here, and these are in much worse condition than we saw earlier. These houses are under Union County Park System and they own it. Basically, it's a government property, but they need to preserve them more, because if you look at the condition over here, it's not so good. You can see how bad it is, especially when it's part of National Historic locations. So I think they need to invest more here, because obviously people want to come here. I've seen people just walking around, and especially kids. I met some nice kids here today and they were really interested in this place. They wanted to learn it, but if they open it up, they fix it, then it's definitely something that can encourage kids into history, because you can go in and experience the structure from inside. But again, unfortunately, the houses are not well maintained. So I guess time to leave these houses. Actually, before I go, I want to see what they have over here. So apparently this is one of 15 duplexes that were here, and there used to be two families that used to live in these duplexes basically. And they're also part of the same, I think, part of those 15 houses, duplexes. I wouldn't say houses, because the family that lived over here was the Jennings family. They had parents, 7 children, ages from 8 to 12. So you can imagine, two families living side to side, and then one family, they have about 9 people. So that's a lot. And this is the first floor, and this is the second floor. And here they have, you know, like basically the dimension of the house, what was it like living here. But again, it's too much. 8 people living in a duplex. Again, there's like, you know, like 2 families living side to side, so which is not much of a space, but still they managed to have 7 kids. So yeah, let's just leave it like that and go towards the barn. So finally we have come to the barn, and I think this is the most preserved building I've seen so far. I'm hoping to see some details about it, but if not, this is it. But for some reason they decided to preserve this than the houses. You can see fresh paint, well maintained. So yeah, that's weird. And here they have some information about it. Alright, so this was circa 1882. The structure was built by Warren Ackerman to serve as a carriage house for the summer resort of Glenside Park, and was used as such from 1882 to 1916. The Union County Park Commission purchased the building and surrounding property in 1927 from Annetta and Frederick Masker for incorporation into the Watchung Reservation. The Sunny Barn Day Camp operated from here for several years. Masker's barn served as the lecture hall and cafeteria for the Union County Outdoor Education Center from 1966 to 1984. Restoration of this building, completed in September 2011, was made possible by funding from the Union County Board of Chosen Freeholders, the Union County Open Space, Recreation and Historic Preservation Trust Fund, and the Garden State Historic Preservation Fund, administered by the New Jersey Historic Trust, State of New Jersey. So they decided to preserve this, but not the houses. I think the funds are well spent, but they need to allocate more funds for the houses back there so they can be restored as well. And I think this whole area should be more advertised because there is a lot of history. I'm not doing justice to it. I'm not telling the complete history of this area, because again that would be a very lengthy video. I'm just trying to show you how it is right now, what my experience is like. It's a very nice area. It's historic. It have the natural beauty to it. There is a pond up there, so I'm gonna go there and see, you know, like, I mean, how far into the trail I can go. But again, this is amazing. Before I go on the trail, I saw this over here. It's called pergola. So I guess this is where they have weddings, because I can see the environment they created here, or you know, the structure they have. So this is the area where they hold wedding celebrations. That's my guess. I still don't know if that's 100% accurate or not, but depending on how well that is preserved, this has to be the location, because otherwise, I've shown you guys the whole area is pretty messed up right now. The houses which should have been preserved are in their worst condition possible. Like, I mean, I think the next step is only them falling apart, which they already are. So let's see. Now I'm just going on to the trail. So it says Battle of the Short Hills Historic Trail. Damn, how many battles were there in New Jersey? Jersey has to be the most fought state, you know. Everywhere you go, every single location, there's some battle, and they're all, like, you know, revolutionary battles basically. Most of them were under the command of George Washington, but then, yeah, like, I mean, also, like, there's a area nearby which I'll be showing in my next video, from where George Washington's army used to keep an eye on the British coming from New York, because New York was under British rule. There, it was British occupation over there. They occupied it. But then Morristown, which is not so far from here, I'm literally in between Morristown and I forgot the name of that area, but the hill is nearby. So I'm literally in between. And Morristown, I'm definitely gonna make a video again if you guys want to watch it. If anybody know Urdu or Hindi, they can watch the history of Morristown, how it was built but it was built during the Revolutionary War, so that's the most I can tell right now. So I just checked on All Trail. It's gonna be a lengthy walk, so I guess I might not go all the way in because I'm not in the mood of having a hike today, because there are some steep areas, not so steep though, but you know, it's a big walk and I still have to go back to the parking lot from where I came from. So I guess this would be the point where I'm saying goodbye. I hope you guys have learned something. I've tried my best to document every single information or every single location possible to the best of my knowledge. I'm not saying I've covered everything because this is obviously a very vast area with a lot of history. So maybe, you know, there'll be a couple more videos about Watchung Reservation, but this was the best of my knowledge and best of the information I could gather. I've seen some old houses. This area is being established since 1800s, but again the preservation is not so good. Only the barn is preserved. So yeah, I hope you guys liked it. There are other travel vlogs on my channel. You can go and check them out. Soon I'm gonna start like doing the food reviews as well, so hopefully, like, you know, that goes good. Do keep an eye for that. And again, if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. If you find the video interesting, make sure you like, and don't forget to hit the bell icon, and don't forget to share the video if you find it interesting and informative. And I see you guys in my next video. Hopefully that will be soon. And yeah, so that's it for today. I hope to see you guys again in my next video. Until then, take care. Thank you very much.